Good morning and welcome to the programme. We hope you're well. We hope you're staying safe. We hope you wash your hands. We're asking everybody that's listening to this programme this morning, at least twice or three times during this programme, wash your hands and explain to your children that your hands don't have to appear dirty and why washing is so important. And we've seen so many great experiences online and on television of people doing that and singing different songs as they wash their hands. As I said before, we are going to deal with facts on this programme. We're not going to deal with any rumours. We are also going to deal with real people's stories. It's not going to be a totally COVID programme for the next few days or anything like that. We've said that we will always do the stories as they come and also listen to what people have to say. Play a bit of music as well in between things, because I think we want to give people a nice kind of a feeling about things as well, because there can be an awful lot of bad news around, and unfortunately there is a lot of bad news around. We want to reflect that, but we also want to play songs uplifting maybe. So I want you to text in if you want, a small little thing this morning. Text in what sort of songs that maybe you'd like to hear today or any other days. 083 33 33 975. We're also going to continue our competitions, because again it's nice to give some people nice things to think about and other things for the future. And we have, as part of our original Irish Hotels giveaway, we have our quiz, the Gimme a Break quiz. So we're going to be doing that later. Firstly, we want to do the Mulligan's Pharmacy. This is the afternoon tea and spa treatment at Fate Lake House Hotel. You can hang on to that for later in the year. We want you to text in the best advice you ever received from your mammy or your mummy. Anything funny, anything serious, downright crazy, or welcome. You can text us into 083 33 33 975, or you can call Audrey on 051 846 123. And text us in any of your stories, please. Anything that is concerning you at present regarding any of the matters that are out there. Going to be listening to a bit of what the Taoiseach had to say last night. Firstly, I'm going to go to Passage East. Phil Mullen, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Phil, my deepest sympathy and condolences to you and your family on the death of your brother John.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. It's been a difficult time for the family, but obviously the funeral was yesterday. It's difficult out there at the minute. I mean, but I've got to say a massive thank you to the village, for the people of the village and the local areas who turned out in their droves, and fully respecting the current climate as well. So a big thank you to those.
And we'll talk about that in a second, Phil. I have to express a personal interest in this story, because I knew John for many years, and a lovely, a thorough gentleman. The Mullen family and the relations in Passage and in Crook, and obviously the Birmingham connections. You were over from Birmingham for the funeral, were you?
Yes, yeah. Arrived on Saturday. And my brother Eddie and his wife Pat and sister Geraldine and Paul arrived on Friday as well. So that was all that could attend. The one sister, she's herself fighting a cancer battle, and she's had to remain in Birmingham. So we got here. We got here for the funeral, which was
a shout out to her. What's her name, Phil?
Marion,
yeah, because I remember John talking about her being unwell. Just a little tribute to John first. He battled cancer for the past 7 years, I think, and a lot of people would have known him in the building trade around Waterford. An experienced stonemason in particular, really, really good with his hands, and would have been widely known and highly respected, not just around Crooken and Passage, but around Waterford and beyond. Isn't that right?
Yeah, he was a great character for the local area, and besides obviously his trade and that, he was there for anybody who needed a helping hand, throughout the village and that. So he was well respected all over Damien.
And anybody who has also suffered a bereavement over the last few days, we extend our deepest sympathy to them as well. The reason, I suppose, and Park Rangers as well, and Passage Hurling Club, how did just describe, because this may affect so many different people over the coming weeks, Phil. How did you actually conduct the funeral? The funeral mass took place up in Crook, was it?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So how did it actually work?
Well, we was informed by the priest that there was going to be a restriction with close family, just to attend the mass, and that was respected by all. Although there was droplets of people within the mass, that they're all aware of the situation and they respected that, and it went well for us. And then outside, when we sort of followed the hearse up to the cemetery, and that it was the lines of people again respecting the situation, the current climate, and that, and it was just wonderful to see. It got quite emotional, to be fair.
I believe it was very emotional because people were, as you say, respecting that distance.
Yeah,
standing in silence, nodding, just that feeling of we're with you. We can't physically go and hug you or shake hands with you, but we're with you. And it was a phenomenal turnout. Yeah,
it was. It was incredible, I mean, we didn't know what to expect, obviously, with the restrictions and that, but the village and the local surrounding areas, the people done him proud,
And
it obviously we're dealing with the funeral, but just to see these folks who are putting themselves out in difficult circumstances, it was wonderful to see, and it was very emotional, and it was emotional for them as well, I guess.
Because funerals are times for people to come together and express sympathy and solidarity and empathy. And they wanted to be there. And it's not just in Passage, it's every other village and every other community within cities and towns across Waterford and the country that this is going to be played out. And again, because John was so well known, and the Irish funeral is such a community event, isn't it, Phil? And like, you couldn't go back to the pub because the pub was closed, so you had to go back to the house and just yourselves and your family. That must have been very difficult as well.
Well, it was, but it was also it was very comforting as well, And obviously we would have wanted to share from the start to the finish with everyone, his friends and his associates and that. But like I say, we have to respect the current climate. But it is just nice with the family, with Stella and the lads, who have been brilliant over these past few and very difficult weeks for them as well. And it was just nice to all get together, and we had a few toasts for him and that, etc., and a few stories. We won't go into that though, Dave.
And did you sing a few songs?
Yeah, we did. Yes, yeah. Not me though. I've got to tell you.
And John had a few favourite songs, all right. I believe there was some beautiful tributes to him, and
we there was a couple in the church, and then one after the ceremony up at the grave.
And
the Nightingale song.
The Nightingale song, yeah.
His favourite, I think.
And again, in the graveyard, people respecting the distance, and yet they're there in solidarity. They're they're with you, isn't that it?
Oh yeah, that was the message. It was wonderful, It was because, like I say, we didn't know what to expect, and we would have respected whatever went on, whether people would attend or not. And I guess there's people who wanted to, and because of their own situation, their own health issues, they couldn't. But it's just a big thank you to everybody. It's been a difficult time, but it was wonderful to see it all happening and unfolding yesterday.
And I want to say a special hello and well done in these very difficult circumstances, Phil, to Stella in particular and to Edward. I know John and Stella, they were on this programme last year because I did a piece about the cockle women and the cockle shells in Passage, and people will see that video up on Facebook. And Stella and John were inseparable all their lives. And for John to be in the hospital for certain days where he couldn't be seen, and that was so difficult for Stella. And God bless her and God love her. So difficult.
Yeah, there was about three or 4 days where nobody was allowed into the hospital. It was like on shutdown. So, but the circumstances permitted us in the end, and Stella and my sister Geraldine done 3 nights, 24/7 with him, looking after him right to the end.
And Stella went in, I know, and spoke to him and was with him on the last day, and and
we all got in to see him, Damien.
Lovely, Phil. Yeah, that was
we
good.
all got in to see him, and it's difficult. But, he was a character. He was a man. He was definitely a man's man.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed life, and he fought it. And the old saying that Deco comes out with, "It is what it is." He would come out and say that, and he says, "I'm going to live my life. It's not going to get in the way of it, and I'm going to see it right through to the end." And God bless him, that's what he did.
Beautiful. Well said, Phil. And talking to me this morning, I know it's very difficult for you, and I know you're speaking on behalf of the family, on behalf of Stella, and thanks for taking the call. I think it's a nice tribute to pay to John. It really is, and to the community, and to every community that has to go through this, and every family. But may he rest in peace.
Thank you very much, and again, thanks to everyone who's supported the family over the last difficult days. Thank you, Damien.
Phil, God bless. Take it easy. Mind yourself and your sister.
Cheers.
And
Bye-bye.
all the family. Bye-bye. Phil Mullen there, talking to us from outside of the house in Passage this morning. Very difficult, very emotional. Well done to everybody that supported the family yesterday. And as I say, I'm not just picking out John for any particular reason. It's just that I know the family and I was able to talk to them this morning. But for all those that have suffered bereavements over the last week in particular, since these new regulations have come in, we want to extend our deepest sympathy from everybody in WLR, express our deepest sympathy and support, and to all the communities that are supporting people as well. And we did the piece this morning with Phil on the basis of paying a tribute to John, but also letting people understand how it works. So you can have a funeral mass. It can be done, and that empathy and support from a village or from an area within a city can be done, and it can be respected, and it can be very, very powerful as well, very emotional, because that distance is there, but you know everybody is there with you. Damien, we attended John's burial yesterday at the graveyard. My husband was born and reared in Passage with John's sons. Very hard for people attending. It was very unnatural not to hug Stella and the boys. God help any poor family that are trying to organise funerals, but it can be done, and it can be a massive show of support, a love and support to them all. Keep your texts and your comments coming in. I'm going to just play a little bit of the Taoiseach now before we talk to our next guest. If you didn't hear it last night, this is what the Taoiseach had to say last night. Julie was pulling together a few of the main points from what he had to say. And we're just going to play this morning because it may not happen again. He may not give an address again like this. Maybe he will in a week's time, we don't know. But we're going to be talking about a lot more in a few minutes. Your stories, your comments, all your texts, please, coming in. We're going to be talking about hairdressing. We're going to be talking about food. We're going to be talking about those that work in the hospital, the heroes. We're going to be talking about people that have lost their businesses. We're going to be talking about the GAA, for example. How have the GAA clubs managed to, I suppose, make sure that the regulations are adhered to? And we're going to also be talking to medical people. Very, very important medical advice coming up. Here's Taoiseach Leo Varadkar speaking last night.
Our community services and hospitals are being tooled up. Essential equipment is on the way. Retired staff are returning to service. People are training for changed roles. This is the calm before the storm, before the surge. And when it comes, and it will come, never will so many ask so much of so few. We'll do all that we can to support them. I'm also grateful to the many people who have joined this great national effort, not just our healthcare staff, but also our army cadets, our librarians, our civil servants who are now learning to do contact tracing, the early education and childcare workers offering to look after children for our frontline staff so they can go to work, the teachers and lecturers finding new, innovative ways to teach students online and putting together contingency plans for the Leaving Cert and college exams. The people who are stocking our shelves every day, and those who are serving customers. Our hauliers who leave their families on a Sunday evening and travel across the continent to ensure that we have the products, medicines and equipment that we need. All those who keep our supply chain moving, working in transport, we thank them. It's a frontline service too. Our journalists and broadcasters who are helping us to inform and educate the public are all deserving of our respect and thanks. Coronavirus is already having a deep impact on jobs and economic activity, and will continue to do so. Some people watching will have seen their jobs lost, businesses closed, or working hours reduced. And more will be worried that it might happen to them too, especially as we don't know when the emergency will end. I know this is causing huge stress and anxiety to you and your families, on top of the fear of the virus. While we don't have all the answers now, we are doing and will do all we can to help you through the time ahead. You'll receive income support as quickly and efficiently as possible, and when we're through the worst, we will get people back to work and get businesses open again. Everyone in our society must show solidarity at this time of national sacrifice. For those who've lost their jobs and had their incomes reduced, there will be help and understanding from those who can give it, particularly the banks, government bodies and utilities. We went into this crisis with a strong economy and the public finances in good order, capacity and credit rating to borrow billions if we need to, and I'm confident that our economy will bounce back. But the damage will be significant and lasting. The bill will be enormous, and it may take years to pay it. The government has already signed off on a €3 billion package for health, social welfare and business, and will take further action as needed.
Now, keep your texts and comments coming in. I'm going to go straight to my next guest before I read any of them out, because I know he is being hammered at work. Dr. Jeff Plant, good morning.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Extremely busy.
We spoke the other day on Saturday. Very strong message that you put out. It got already 250,000 views online and others, and it's been shared nearly 500,000 times. Sorry, it has a reach of really 500,000. Can I ask you this morning, on Wednesday morning in the KYO practice, what has it been like? What is it like?
We're trying to be as organised as possible, but there's such demand of phone calls coming in and such changes in guidelines. It's pretty tough to say. I'm going to use the word, there's slight chaos, but as organised as possible. That's what it's like at the moment. We've changed a lot, Damien, and anyone ringing in, anyone who needs to see a doctor or thinks they need to see a doctor needs to phone and phone the practice first, and then we will phone them back. A doctor will phone them back. Now, I know other surgeries are working similar to that, but that's extremely important. You cannot walk in here and just ask to be seen at the moment.
I presume you are getting dozens, if not, over the last few days, hundreds of phone calls.
Yeah, I'd say thousands at this stage. Thousands. I'd use it's pretty full on. Now, of course, we're at the stage, Damien, where, thank goodness, if people are ringing, they're generally quite well. They're looking for advice, or they have a new onset of cold, and we're organising testing. So things have changed a lot, even since I was with you on Saturday. And I'm sure every day it's going to change even more. So roughly how it's working, if you allow me, just in terms of,
yes,
someone was to ring through to their doctor today and they have respiratory symptoms, okay? So that is a cough, a cold, a flu-like, a fever, okay? You will be asked a series of questions. If you can measure a temperature at home, it would be hugely helpful. I can understand that a lot of people don't have access to that, but it'd be hugely helpful. You will be asked on the phone, if you ring a doctor, do you have those symptoms? If you do, a designated doctor will ring you back. Now, be patient. We will get back to you. Just be patient. You can understand the volume of calls are so big.
Could it be a few hours before a phone call is made back?
Oh, it could be, yeah. Now, on Monday, it was maybe a 3 hours wait. I can't predict what it'll be like today. Currently, I'd say we're at about an hour, okay? That's roughly where it is. Now, if the doctor talks to you, he or she will give you good advice on the phone. If you need to be tested, and I think most people are aware at the moment that the criteria for testing has gone a lot lower, that will be ordered, and it is done through the National Ambulance Service. So you will be contacted by phone or text. It's very important to have your phones charged. If a test needs to be done, then you'll be contacted. I have no idea how long it takes at the moment, but I understand it'd be a 2 or 3 day wait at least.
Okay, because this is important. Clarity on this now. When if a doctor says, okay, I think you should be tested. This is an over-the-phone consultation, obviously, which the government is now going to pay for, I believe. Isn't that it? That's the charge is now done away with.
Again, changed overnight, which is great.
Charge is now done away with.
Correct.
The HSE will ring you back. It won't be the GP that will ring you back. It'll be the HSE, National Ambulance Service testing team that will ring you back. Is that right?
Well, sorry, if someone rings me and they have respiratory symptoms, first of all, one of us in our practice, a doctor will ring you back. If a test is needed, yes. If the doctor isn't going to be, all we need to make sure is that your phone number you're giving is correct. Okay, that's vital. And the National Ambulance Service will be arranging the testing. Okay, so they need to wait until they're informed. I understand it might be by text or by phone about the testing, and you'll be given clear instructions then about the how and why of the testing. Okay?
And that can take 2 or 3 days, as you say, because we've just got a text in from somebody saying that their doctor has told them that they are going to be tested. The doctor has sent off the email or the phone to the National Ambulance Service, and they've been waiting since Monday, so it's now Wednesday. So that person should be contacted maybe today or tomorrow.
Damien, I cannot promise the time scale on that at the moment, and I don't think anyone can. I certainly hope so, but as you can understand, the volumes are huge. I heard on my information on the news, the same as you guys last night, is that it could be a number of days before they're tested, but I've no idea how long that wait would be.
I understand.
In the meantime, this is important. If you have, and this is for all your listeners, this is vital what I'm about to say now, okay? Vital. If you have symptoms of a cold, a fever or a flu, you must self-isolate, not social isolation, self-isolate immediately, okay? That is vital. Instructions about self-isolation are very clear on the HSPC, I repeat, the HSPC website. Click in, it will be instructions about self-isolation for you and your family members. This is vital. So whether your test is pending, whether no test is ordered, whether you're waiting to see a doctor, you have those symptoms, you self-isolate now.
Okay, and a very specific question. Let's say a family of 4 are in the house and the mammy, the daddy or whatever, or one of the children gets this high temperature. How does that child or parent self-isolate within the house? Again,
I read through them quickly last night. They do have flexibility with children, obviously, but I'm going to ask people to read the Actually, if everyone has time today, please ring it in case they do get symptoms. Please read it if they do get symptoms. The HSPC site on how to self-isolate. Okay, there is instructions for family members. There's instructions about kids. It's quite long, Damien, so I don't want to go through all.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And go on.
I understand it's going to be, I guess it can't be with kids and with elderly people. There's kind of flexibility. There has to be flexibility, but there's distances. There's how to do it. There's laundry. There's cups and all the instructions are on that website. But let me emphasise this. Self-isolating people with symptoms, whether it's a cold or virus, and at the moment, as I said today, the likelihood it's still a cold or virus, whether it is coronavirus, whether that, sorry, there's people walking into my room here, my apologies. So if you have symptoms of a cold, a flu, no matter what, whether you're waiting to get to the doctor, whether you're waiting for testing, whether you're waiting to get better, the self-isolating, the statistics are showing that if you do it properly from immediately when you get symptoms, you will save. Now, this is quite an important, heavy message to get across. You potentially will save, and the statistics are backing this up, 1 life down the line. 1 life down the line. That's how important it is.
Okay.
That's how important it is, okay?
Okay.
So please get that message out to all your listeners today. That is, if you have symptoms, you self-isolate while you're waiting for phone calls back or tests back or whatever. That is how important it is.
Okay.
If this is to get out of control, which all signs are, it could spiral. One person self-isolating down the line in a month's time can
save somebody's life. Okay, so you can be a lifesaver if you self-isolate.
You can, by doing this properly.
The figures at present are that, and I'll let you go now because I know you're mad busy, the figures are that if you get it, more than likely you will spread it to 2 to 3 other people. It's a 3-time spreading rate. Can I ask you a very specific question regarding prescriptions? If somebody is trying to get onto the pharmacy say they can't give you the prescription without actually getting the prescription from the chiropractor or from any other surgery, but practices can't take calls or aren't taking calls regarding prescriptions, you might get a call back later. Some people might feel they've no choice but to go to the surgery.
Yeah, no, we are telling anyone who, look, if you ring and you have a query about a prescription, need a prescription, you ring through, a doctor will be back through to you, okay? Do not come in to pick up a prescription. We are arranging prescriptions to be delivered to pharmacies in the vicinity at the moment. That's the best we can do at the moment, okay? So anyone who's looking for prescriptions, ring us. We will ring you back. Yes, there'll be delays, and we will sort out the prescription and we will deliver it. At the moment, we're delivering it to our local pharmacies here in Ballybricken. We have closed down our Lismore Park surgeries, just sending Joe practice patients now. We've closed down our Lismore Park and Ferrybank surgeries temporarily there, just due to the management issues. So if anyone is wondering about that from the Joe practice point of view, okay?
Jeff, mind yourself and your staff there. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, Damien, and I might try and do an update for people in a few days' time. Yeah. Everyone stay safe. Look after each other. I thought Leo Riker's messages were excellent last night. We need to look after our mental health now as well. But if you have symptoms of a cold or virus, you must self-isolate and get on, I repeat, HSPC website. There's instructions about self-isolation. I think I've repeated myself a few times, and I apologize
that's
about
fine.
that. But
that's fine.
This is the key.
Can't be repeated enough, yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, mind yourself. Take it easy. Good luck.
Thanks, Amy. Bye.
Bye. Dr. Jeff Plant there with some advice. Let us know what you think, please. Damien, there are some different clubs across the country. Their clubhouses may be closed, but they may have facilities open. Can you talk about this? We're going to be talking about the GAA next and just what is the regulations with that, because it's very difficult, I suppose, to close off pitches. If there's any other clubs open in any other sports, what's the situation there, people are asking. Damien, can you please tell me how long it takes to get a test? I'm waiting since Monday. Well, you heard it from Dr. Plant. We're looking at 2 to 3 days at least. He thinks, he can't give a guarantee. Damien, a great show. Thank you very much. And as I say, we're going to deal with facts. Damien, that was very sad talking to Phil on the death of his brother, and it was very good, very hard on the families, but it just shows that funerals can be held and there can be empathy and people can support others. It's not easy. Thanks from a regular listener. Keep your texts and your comments coming in, and also the advice from the mammies. We've got some great advice. I'm going to read them up in a little while, but we've got a winner. This is for the Faith Leg. Thanks very much for Faith Leg for this voucher, and it is for afternoon tea and a spa treatment for you and your mum for Faith Leg House Hotel. And when it was all off with my boyfriend, now my husband, my mother used to say, men are like buses. There's always another to follow, and that is from Terry. So Terry is the winner. Well done, Terry. You've won that. And there's been a lot of other interesting comments coming in. The best advice from mammies. When I have a lot on my plate, my mammy tells me, you can't swallow an elephant whole, one bite of an elephant at a time. That's from Nicola in Dungarvan. Keep your texts and your comments coming in, 083 3333 975. Now, I'll get to your texts and your comments in a few minutes, but another man who's very busy is Sean Michael O'Regan. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. You're chairperson of Waterford GAA. Thanks for taking our call this morning, because, as I say, I know you're busy at work.
No problem.
What's the story regarding GAA clubs around the county? And these are the regulations, I suppose, the advice that's been given from GAA national headquarters. All matches are off. That's the first thing, isn't that it?
Yeah, I suppose, Damien, look, we're as everybody knows in your show there the last couple of mornings and last week, we're in exceptional, unprecedented times, never seen before. And, you know, the statement from the government came out there, was it maybe last Thursday now at this stage? And on the back of that statement from the government, the GA and our ladies' associations as well, the camogie and the football, you know, they decided that all activities, clubs, inter-counties at all levels, educational, was suspended until March the 29th. So that's basically it. And in the meantime, the association is encouraging everybody and every member to continue to follow those guidelines. You know, so from a Waterford GA point of view then as well, we went a step further there over the weekend. And just there the other night, we released a statement as well that from a club's point of view, we've postponed all our scheduled fixtures that were there for the calendar month of April until further notice, really. Yes. And that's really where we are. And again, like every association, and not just the GA, I suppose, you know, the rugby and soccer or tennis or whatever associations that are there, we're taking guidance from the government and from the health and safety authorities, you know, and that's what we're about at the moment.
There is another difficulty, Sean, and it's not just GA clubs. It can be soccer clubs, it can be other clubs. It's very hard. Like, what is the situation if a family wants to go up and puck around at a GA club, whether it be somewhere in Waterford, whether it be down the west, whether it be in the city? If they want to go in, like, are the gates open of GA clubs, or are they closed?
I can't say, Damien, if all the gates and all the GA clubs, soccer clubs, rugby clubs are open, but I suppose it is back to, again, everybody having that collective responsibility, you know what I mean, and that personal responsibility. I suppose from a player's point of view, young and old, you know what I mean? So it's, you know, there's kids that are underage guys that are, what's after happening here? We should be pucking ball, we should be going here, we should be kicking ball and everything, and then teenagers and then into the other players, adult players as well. So I suppose there's everybody plays a part in this society at the moment, so it's not really what association we're from, you know. Yeah,
I know, but there's also this thing here, Sean, that and again, I've been involved and I'm involved in GA and soccer clubs, so I know the situation here, and you can't physically close off a ground sometimes completely. There are some grounds that are open. The problem is, if you get a daddy and a son and a daughter going up pucking around, what's going to happen is, unless they're cleared off the field, others are going to come in, and you're going to get this idea of people. And what happens is, within a few minutes, you've got maybe 10 or 20 people, and it's grand. But if that ball, God forbid, if somebody has the virus and that ball is being pucked from one to another. So I'm just wondering, is there, obviously, insurance has to come into it, but also, like, should there be, or can you see a time where the GA committees within each GA club are basically saying, sorry lads, you can't play or puck around up here?
Yeah, I suppose, Damien, look, that's, again, I have to go back. We can't police every area. We can't police every field or whatever. You're back to the personal responsibility. To be honest with you, I haven't seen much of that now. I haven't. Obviously, we're all not travelling as much to an extent as we have been in the past, but any bit of travelling that I have done around the county and passing GA fields and other associations as well, I haven't seen that, to be honest with you.
There's not much of it. I know there's not much of it going on, you're right. I've seen it a bit over the weekend, but it's just like, should a committee, like, are you advising any GA committee to basically say, sorry lads, you can't allow that, or are you just saying, well, we're not really sure what the message, what we should be doing on this?
No, I think the message is quite clear, you know what I mean? The message is clear that, you know, there's no collective training in any way, shape or form. So everybody after that, and we are, as a GA, as an association, we're certainly adhering to that for sure.
No, I understand that, regarding go on.
But the personal responsibility has to come into play, Damien, you know what I mean? So everybody, every player, myself included, so I've got young guys, I've got grandparents, everybody has... everybody has situations that you have to take on. So we can't go out and police. I don't think the government or anybody's policing that. There's a huge society ask there. This is a national crisis, and again, everybody's been asked to do that. I haven't seen much of it myself, but again, people, you have to, get the fresh air. People are going for walks as well along the greenways and so on and so forth. So, it's where do you go? Where do you draw the line? We're going with the guidance of what we have. that's really it. You know what I mean? So there's horse racing, behind closed doors. People are interacting there. There's golf societies, there's skill golf. So it's I have to say I haven't seen much of it. You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
And collective training.
Yeah, no, I know all the collective stuff is stopped. If I was a committee member in a GA club and I see lads pucking around, they'd be saying, would you have to get out in the fresh air and you don't know what to do? Do you physically have to get, sorry lads, you can't be up here? I don't know what the thing is. So we'll see what happens. Listen, Sean, mind yourself and your family, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
No problem. You take care, Damien. Mind yourself. And I wish everybody to look after themselves and be safe. That's it.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
thank you so much, Sean. And to everybody involved in sports and families and all their relations, please take extra care, as you have heard us talk about. TV Honan has texted in, Damien, I just spoke with a small business person. He went to his bank this morning requesting a temporary freeze on loan repayments. We can't do that, he was told, even though you're 3 payments ahead. Fine, said the local businessman, can you get me credit for being 3 payments ahead? I can't do that, said the man at the bank. We'll have to take this month's repayment. TV says, I heard the Taoiseach and the Minister of Finance say you would help people like me, said this man. Well, we haven't heard anything officially, said the bank man. So the moral of the story is there's a gap between what's being said on television and what's happening on the ground. Someone needs to send a memo to the banks. Well, the banks are supposed to be meeting, as I understand, today regarding this with government officials on this. And a number of other people have been texting in similar stories about the gap from what the Taoiseach has said and what the Minister, Heather Humphreys, has said to what's happening on the ground. If you have any personal experience of that, let us know, please. Text us in. The IBTS blood donation clinic scheduled today for the Tower Hotel has been cancelled. Thanks to all the donors who attended the clinics over the last week. So the blood donation clinic scheduled for the Tower Hotel today has been cancelled. Other people texting in about other sports, clubs that are open. Their clubhouses may be closed, but they may have facilities open, and they're wondering what should be done there. Should children not be allowed into these particular facilities? Damien, I'm an asthmatic and I have a heart disease. I'm a home help. Should I go to work or stay at home? I'm not a medical expert. The same question was asked last week when another person rang in and the doctor said, Mark Rowe said, on advice, probably stay at home. But that's what was a different matter from last week. Damien, well done for the Mass on Sunday. Will there be other Masses next Sunday? We're exploring that option. Keep your texts and your comments coming in 083 333 975, or if you want to ring 051 846 123. And also you can start texting now. Give me a break, GIMME. Give me a break if you want to be in a chance to win our competition. And also send in any suggestions for songs. I'm going to play a song before the end of the programme. Any suggestions for songs? Now, keep your texts and comments coming in. I'm going to be talking to Paul Dower in a second, the COVID-19 Waterford Community Action Group. People texting in different songs that they want played. We'll run through a few of those in the second half of the programme. Trish and a number of others have said, could you please play Don't Stand So Close to Me by Sting. I'm not going to play that this morning. It's brought a smile to my face, but I'm not going to play that this morning. Damien was at the NCT this morning. They need to have more sanitisers there. Damien, what about factories on the industrial estates? Is everything being done there regarding social distancing? Can we get an actual figure on how many in UHW have contracted the virus? No, we can't get an actual figure, unfortunately, because the government are not giving out particular figures for each hospital area. They're giving it for general areas in terms of east, west and south, and that's what they're doing on this. Well done on the great show. We need to make sure our stress levels are kept under control and show kindness to people, says Bernie. Happy 48th wedding anniversary to the best husband in the world, who's in the Mater Hospital. Get well soon, Pat. Missing you so much. Lots of love from Peggy. If you could play I Love You, because, and that's from Jim Reeves, and that's from Peggy. Happy wedding anniversary. Paul, are you on the line? You are?
Damien, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. Paul Dower. A lot of people would know you from Waterford in Your Pocket and other groups around Waterford city centre and county. A lot of people have got involved to try to help people, and the positivity that's coming out in terms of supports. We're talking to Thomas Phelan the other day. There's other groups that are doing it. Your group is called the COVID-19 Action Group, Community Action Group. Tell us about it, please.
Yeah, no, first of all, can I just say I'm blown away, but not just me, everybody's blown away with the amount of goodwill that's out there on Waterford. And Team Waterford is alive and well and willing to help others, which is just absolutely amazing. Yeah, I suppose we came up with the idea. It wasn't just me, it was a few people involved. The lads from the Waterford River Rescue, Jim Griffin, Bernadette Phillips, and a few others that had this idea, how do we get information out there, how do we help people? And I suppose from Jim Griffin's point of view, he has always been involved in the Coast Guard and all that, and he knew through the snow how hard it is to organise getting food out to people and getting medicines to people and all that. So it's his expertise that's coming to the forefront there. And Bernadette is sociology and social care is her forefront. So we can bring a lot of information to the people that's all researched from proper sources. So there's no hearsay what we're putting out there. And what we're trying to do, we're asking everybody as well, is to just to stay positive, even though it's tough. To stay positive and we'll get through this.
I know it's through Facebook that you're organising this, and if somebody wants to contact you and if somebody wants to get in touch, let's say there's a couple in a house, we've had a number of people texting in about some elderly people don't want to go out and their relatives may be in another part of the country, for example. They might have some friends, but they don't want to go troubling them. What do they do? Give me a practical example of what do they do.
Well, the best thing what they can do is, if they can't contact us on Facebook, they can actually contact Jim Griffin, and he has a list of volunteers throughout the county through various organisations that he has built up since that time of the snows. So there is volunteers out there.
And Jim can be contacted through Facebook or through he's a councillor, Sinn Féin councillor, but also he is involved with the Coast Guard, and there's a lot of Coast Guard groups and other groups getting involved with these type of things, isn't there?
Now you have it. And we are hoping that as from tomorrow we're going to have a dedicated landline for information as well, so people will be able to ring there. So when we have that, we'll let you know about it, but we'll also have it up on our Facebook page as well.
Okay, well that's very important. And also that people only take information and only take, I suppose, calls from trusted sources. In other words,
that's it.
This is very important. For example, the Irish Red Cross put out a statement last night. I haven't been able to talk to anybody locally this morning because they're going through the national office, that there were some instances they understand of people calling to people's houses, in particular elderly people, saying that they have a COVID test and it'll cost them €100. This is complete and utter bull. It's not true. They were looking for €100 from somebody for this so-called COVID test. Do not deal with anybody like that.
No, exactly. And I actually saw that on WLR.com this morning, so we'll be sharing that over as well. And this is the information that we want to get out there for people as well. There's credible sources out there. There's a lot of fake news out there. Do not trust the fake news. And even from my own part of Work in Your Pocket, I do the same thing as well. We research it. So anything we put out there is credible. And that is so important. Don't be taking it from some of the red tops or whatever else that try to sensationalise everything. Well, their information is there, but make sure it is a credible source.
Very good. Well, listen, Paul, keep up the good work to you and everybody involved, and we'll keep in touch with you, OK?
Brilliant. Thanks, David. And everybody out there, stay safe. We will get through this.
We will. Paul Dower there, thank you very much for joining us. And as I said, that is the COVID-19 Waterford Community Action Group. If you have any questions, if you don't have the numbers for any of those people there, my suggestion would be to ring the council. That would be one of the first things, and they will give you the numbers for any of the councillors involved with something like this. So, for example, I know Jim is doing matters regarding the Coast Guard. Jim is based in Dunmore East, and then there's others down in Dungarvan, and we've had other people on as well. So it's not a party political thing. It's not one party. Everybody's helping each other with this and trying to get through this. Good morning, Damien. Just in my local supermarket, by the look of things, the panic bulk buying seems to be simmering down a bit. Maybe people have copped on. Selfishness has somewhat subsided. Another texter in saying they had a very good experience with their bank in the last few days regarding reorganising loans. Very, very good experience. And that's that person. A male caller has phoned in to say the civil defence, could they be doing more, delivering masks and sanitisers to people? We know the issues regarding masks and sanitisers, and our health officials and those that are working in the health service are getting those at the minute. And the advice is there's no need to give a mask to somebody if you don't have the actual virus. That's one of the advice that has been given, just checking on the website there a second ago. Damien, on the GAA restrictions, it should be OK for a man or a dad to bring children to a J grounds to blow off steam, having been cooped up, as long as they don't mix with others up there. It's good for mental health and still being responsible. Completely closing off any GA grounds or soccer grounds or other areas is not required, just personal responsibility. That's a very good point, and I agree with the idea of getting out for a puck around or a kick around, wherever the case may be. The problem is, if, for example, one family are up in the GA grounds in one corner and then another family sees them and says, oh, we can go up there, they go to the other corner, you may have a situation developing. Within the space of a few hours, you have 100 children up there. And this is the problem that I was trying to address earlier with Sean. How does a GA club or a soccer club or any other club in the country deal with matters such as this? Does a committee member have to say, sorry lads, you can't be here because it's going to attract others? Or if you have somebody there playing, do you say, no lads, you can't come in until they're gone? I just don't know, and committee members are not going to be standing around guarding GA grounds and soccer grounds, are they, and football grounds? Let us know what you think. 083 333 975. Just before we go to the news at 11, Chumbawamba, I get knocked down but I get up again, is a suggestion from Laura in Ferrybank. Getting ready to do the 5th class homework with my 11-year-old daughter. Please be kind and stay safe. Damien, there's no sanitisers at the door of some of the tills or the tills at some supermarkets. Could this be addressed, please? We helped out the banks with the bailouts. It's now their turn to help us out. That is in from Bernie. A quick question: if people are supposed to keep away from each other, how can taxi drivers stay safe? We've 2 people who work with us driving taxis in the afternoons at the weekend. One of the issues we addressed the other day, and we're going to come back to that. Others are saying the Civil Defence are doing great work. They've been extremely busy behind the scenes. There's a lot of planning going on and a lot of work going on there. Damien, regarding factories, we have to just be careful at work, and everybody, and I know a lot of managers at factories are dealing with issues as they arise at work there as well. And then other people texting in about cleaning contractors and their important staff facilities as well. Keep your texts and your comments coming in. I'm now going to go to Liz with the news at 11.